Wherever we are, or wherever we travel, we have a cell with us. Brother Body is our cell, and the soul is the hermit who remains inside the cell to pray to God. If the soul does not remain in quiet and solitude in its cell, a cell made by hands does little good to a religious. It is slavery to live in the mind unless it has become part of the body.
What is a physical body? What is my physical body? Am I my physical body, or am I something deeper, something beyond my body? What does my consciousness have to do with this physical body within which I am housed? What is the ultimate body? And what is the relationship of my very temporary physical body and very temporary consciousness to this ultimate body?
The limitless, unsurpassed, most profound Dharma should be manifested through practice with our small, limited, impermanent body and mind. In the case of Dogen's Zazen practice, is also a practice of middle way. We practice our sitting is called just sitting. That means we do nothing but sitting. There are many different meditation techniques in various Buddhist traditions. Dogen's method is one of them, but it's kind of unique. His method is no method or no techniques. We just sit, keep our body upright, and keep our eyes open, not closed, and breathe through our nose deeply as if the air goes down to our abdomen. That's all. That means our body function naturally. We don't stop breathing, and we don't pay attention anything, any particular object, but keep our eyes just naturally open. Dogen Zen called this sitting just sitting, and also dropping off body and mind. And dropping off body and mind means dropping off five aggregates.
I think my brilliant Franciscan history and liturgy professor, Father Larry Landini, may have given the best explanation for why so many Christians seem to be ashamed and afraid of the body. In 1969, after 4 years studying church history, Father Larry offered these final words to us. Just remember, on the practical level, the Christian church was much more influenced by Plato than it was by Jesus. He left us laughing, but also stunned and sad, because 4 years of honest church history had told us how true this actually was. For Plato, body and soul were incompatible enemies. Matter and spirit were at deep odds with one another. Yet for Jesus, there is no animosity between body and soul. In fact, this is the heart of Jesus' healing message and of the Incarnation itself. Jesus, in whom the Word became flesh, was fully human, even as he was fully divine, with both body and spirit operating as one. After centuries of body rejection and the lack of any positive body theology, the West is now trapped in substance addiction, obesity, anorexia, bulimia, plastic surgery, and an obsession with appearance and preserving these bodies. Our poor bodies, which Jesus affirmed have become the receptacles of so much negativity and obsession. The pendulum has now swung in the opposite direction, and the fervor for gyms and salons makes one think these are the new cathedrals of worship. the body is rightly reasserting its goodness and importance. Can we somehow honor both body and spirit together? The Incarnation tells us that body and spirit must fully operate and be respected as one.
I personally am not too worried about UFOs or artificial intelligence or high technology, because now, perhaps, maybe, we can begin to have a real conversation, a deeper question about, am I simply a computer with a face? And if I'm not simply a computer with a face, then who am I? What am I? What is a human being? Now, Joseph Campbell suggested some time ago that if a UFO were to come and observe planet Earth, the first thing they would observe is everything eating everything else. We eat, we consume, we digest. This is part of the built-in biological survival package. We are all programmed to put things in our mouths, right? Now, those of you who know Mary grasp that she is a lover and protector of all creatures, large and small, furry and feathered. She passionately maintains her wildlife sanctuary in eastern Monroe County. Recently, the nearby horse stables closed, and Mary decided to bring 4 horses onto the property. There was a great deal of anxiety surrounding the transfer of these horses by trailer to their new home. There is nothing like managing a distressed 1,200-pound animal in a small, confined space, or delivering it to a new location when it's panicked. Mary is not that big. The delivery day arrived, and there was palpable anxiety. The transfer, however, went smoothly. And as the horses backed out of the trailer onto the field of their new home, they immediately put aside any stress or anxiety or agitation and started eating grass. They continued eating grass the rest of the day. They are still at this moment eating grass. And in so doing, they re-entered their comfort zone. Now, I personally have a lifelong history of reconnecting with my comfort zone by stuffing something into my mouth. I get it. The second thing these aliens in their UFO would observe if they suddenly turned on the lights is everything reproducing. We and all the species on the planet are driven by thousands of powerful, primordial juices and hormones to reproduce ourselves. We eat, we reproduce. Again, part of the deeply programmed biological survival package. These powerful juices influence us in doing all kinds of crazy things throughout our lives. As a physiological being, I am finally left with this identity crisis. Am I simply a vat of protoplasmic energy? Am I simply a digestive system with a face consuming in one end and out the other? Am I simply a reproductive system with powerful drives, urges, compulsions, lusts, and biological forces rampaging through my cells and bubbling up into my thoughts and feelings and manifesting as the decisions and actions of my life? Am I simply a computer with a face, soon to be replaced by artificial intelligence that really doesn't need to be that intelligent to replace me? Now, if your answer to these questions is yes, I'll sit down and our conversation is probably over. If, however, your answer to these questions is no, or I'm not sure, then you and I are left with a very deep and important question. What is my essence? Who am I? What am I? What is a human being?
Our old picture, and we all have to have pictures of things, was a double-deck picture. Heaven and earth, and in terms of the individual person that you are, soul and body. And this whole picture it sort of symbolized a kind of unbelievable separation between two realms of being. And somehow the soul was a part of enigmas of a sort that were on another level than body. Body had to do with your participation in it, so to speak, and soul had to do with your participation in your I reality, in some sense. And we sometimes use the word mind for this. Mind meaning everything that went on inside your being. We sometimes use the word consciousness. We sometimes use the word will. Anyway, there were great arguments that have gone on between the importance of mind over will, or will over mind, and so forth. Or mind over body, and body relation to mind. And this has been our picture for thinking about these things.
Life is a very deep place. Life is a very deep place, deeper than primal biology or computational intelligence. Yet, I have spent much of my life avoiding, denying, escaping this deep place. Why? Because this deep place can threaten my comfort zone and challenge my understanding of who I am as just a body, a mind, or personality. The deep place beckons me to awaken to something happening beneath the surface. Yet often, I would rather eat some grass.
The divine therapy has to empty out the emotional junk of a lifetime that is stored in the body like a meal that has never been digested. So it's a little uncomfortable coming to consciousness, but because it's something like vomiting of a psychological order. Just allowing the thoughts or primitive emotions that have been repressed to pass through our awareness during the time of prayer, even if they're so overwhelming you can't maintain your peace of mind or your capacity to return to the sacred word or sacred symbol you've chosen. It may make the usual response of centering prayer temporarily impossible. But that's all right, because centering prayer is not a set of rules, it's just guidelines. And the guidelines are based more or less on common sense. That is to say, what works best most of the time for most people. But that doesn't mean on every occasion. So when we're blasted by unloading of the unconscious or this psychic vomiting, which is very healthy because it's getting rid of something that shouldn't be in our psyche, this is the marvelous freedom, and while it's a little surprising when it begins, you get used to it. And it also has an end. At some point, you come to the bottom of the grosser aspects of what's been stowed in the unconscious and warehoused in the body. And then you're ready for the more refined work of the nights, though they can be coexistent also.
I seem to have always identified with this small, fragile, temporary body within which my consciousness dwells. Yet now I am awakening to a deeper understanding. I am beginning to grasp that there is an ultimate body to which I belong. How do I identify with this greater and deeper reality? This exploration of mystery manifesting as matter, and matter manifesting as mystery, is just beginning.